as we unveil a great new facility that's going to be transformational, not just for the college, but for everybody that comes to Calgary. I'm going to get you to help me open this up. We're going to count down from 4, so help me do that. And then we'll fire up Calgary's first eSports arena. So let's get our game on. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Join us on a voyage into Calgary's world of eSports. Esports is a growing billion-dollar industry where gaming is taken to a whole new level. It is competitive, it's online, or in person. Bringing gamers together, it's where gaming reaps big monetary prizes. Here is where we unravel the city's vibrant esports scene, reshape any false perceptions, and learn to celebrate the positive impact of the gaming community.
3, 2, 1.
Let's make it a total eclipse.
Hiya everyone! I am Jordan Lee, gamer, esports enthusiast, and your host for Total Eclipse. Esports has come to our colleges. Last time we visited the University of Calgary, and today the attention is on Bow Valley College. In this final episode of Total Eclipse, we will witness the opening of Bow Valley College's esports arena and find out from the Calgary Economic Forum what this all means for the development of our city. Let's jump right in.
My name is Luke Azevedo. I'm Vice President of Creative Industries, Operations and Film Commissioner with Calgary Economic Development. So I've been with the organization for approximately 17 years. Came on as the Film Commissioner, and we determined at that time that the industry was changing drastically. So we wanted to ensure that we were capable of supporting all the new changes and developments and innovations that were happening. Gaming became a component, as well as VFX, animation, esports. So we had to create an environment in our organization to be able to support that activity and that growth as part of the sector. Well, I think, from my perspective, not significantly a gamer. However, I have youngsters around me that are and have been gamers their entire lives. So watching the integration of how they started to see audience, how they started to see engagement with other people all over the world as this became a online kind of activity, and started to determine that this was going to be something that was going to be growing and developing globally. So we wanted to ensure that we at least understood it to begin with, and then started to set up opportunities for us to engage and then start to grow the sector here.
And I'm Tori Romano. I also work at Calgary Economic Development. I'm a business development manager for digital media and entertainment. So I moved to Calgary during the lockdowns. I just wanted a life change, being closer to family, and having worked in creative industries in my past, was looking for a role to get into and came across Calgary Economic Development, met the team, was really inspired and excited about the opportunity to support economic development in the city. And as Luke said, started in the trajectory of looking at gaming and immersive, and then became more expansive in looking at other areas and sectors within digital media and entertainment, including esports, which kept coming up in conversation. And we felt as a team it was important for us to look into that and understand what was happening so that we could better support it. Yeah, I grew up gaming. I mean, N64, Zelda Ocarina of Time is like my favorite game of all time. My fondest memories were playing that game with friends, family. So I've always been really inspired by the storytelling in games. That led me to a previous career in animation, which has an intersection in gaming. So it's been really cool getting to see all of the talented folks that work in Calgary, look at all the different games and genres they've been working in, because everything needs a story, it needs the creative, and it needs the inspiration to move forward. So that's sort of my personal connection to it.
Can you tell us about the Calgary Esports strategy? Like, what is it about?
So Tori was the lead on that strategy, and we took it on for to start to develop a knowledge base of what our ecosystem here represented, and the size and scope of it, and then potentially how we could grow that strategy. So,
yeah, I think just having, I got to a point where I was having separate conversations with a bunch of different folks in post-secondary, with associations, with industry, and there was a vested interest in wanting to pursue esports from different capacities. So having talked with the team and working with partners across the province, we thought developing an Alberta esports strategy would be the most beneficial route to go in. Knowing that other provinces had looked at it and done it city-based, we thought approaching it from a provincial perspective would allow us to grow together, because despite it being competitive in nature, it's important that we look at things from a macro scale in order to push it forward and support the development of the industry. So I thought it was a fantastic experience bringing together a bunch of different perspectives and voices to collaborate and work with our consultant, Deloitte, to ensure that we were, as Luke said, covering what's happening here, what we can do better, what we need to do in order to be a global leader someday, hopefully. So it was a really great experience, and we've seen really positive results from it so far.
Yes, I've seen the tournament that happened last year in Edmonton, to the arena opening here in downtown Calgary at Bow Valley. It's definitely growing, and it's exciting to see.
yeah, I think two things. Doing this as an Alberta initiative made it important for us to have the appropriate partnerships throughout the province, not just the two major cities, but looking at all the smaller cities and towns where there's activity happening, and ensuring that they had a voice in the creation of the strategy. And so the outcome of this, to Tori's point, is to grow and develop. And then from the perspective of economic development, working with Bow Valley College, the Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund invested $5.5 million into the development of that ecosystem. So it's creating a pathway of talent, which is really what the bottom line is for all of our creative sector and our creative economy, is how do we develop the talent base in a way that's meaningful and is going to grow to the point where we can actually support the amount of activity that could come into the province.
My name is Eddie Sargent, and I'm the Associate Dean of the Chu School of Business.
Awesome. So can you please tell us briefly about Bow Valley College?
Yeah, so Bow Valley College is right in the heart of downtown Calgary. We're Calgary's only comprehensive community college. We have a student population of about 16,500 unique students, so a fairly large college. And within the Chu School of Business, we have about just over 5,000 students.
So we're so happy to be here at Bow Valley College and experience this arena before its completion. And then I know that there's like the esports management program, and you were mentioning how many students you have in total. How many students are in that program, and what led Bow Valley to start that program?
Sure. So the eSports Business Management program is our newest program at the Chu School of Business. And it started off, it's never going to probably be as big as our accounting or human resources programs. It is a really new industry in Calgary, but what we're seeking to do with this program is to establish a talent pipeline to bring in professionals within the esports environment to help sort of seed the industry with those different folks who can help move this and transition it into a larger, more professional ecosystem.
Yeah, so as we're speaking about ecosystem and esports growing in Calgary, like I know the arena got funding, and we would like to hear a little bit more about how funding is important to Bow Valley towards esports and
Yeah, so a huge important partner on this project has been Calgary Economic Development. They published the Alberta Esports Strategy, $1 billion opportunity in 2022. And that's been a real guiding light for the work that we've been doing. And as we've moved through this project, we put in an application to the Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund, or OSIF as it's sometimes referred to, and we received a grant for $5.5 million. And that's been to support us over a period of 5 years with both the esports work that we're doing and our creative arts work for virtual production studio and a motion capture studio as well.
My name is Thelma John. I am the esports engagement strategist here at Bow Valley College. My role is primarily around supporting all students, regardless of whether or not they're competing or they're just a general student who's interested in gaming, and then obviously setting up our first varsity esports teams. So my role is really making sure that students have everything they need to compete and to just explore whatever they want to within the esports industry. So on one hand, that can be competing and playing. On other hands, that can be production or support or talent. That could also be content creation. So really anything that falls within that esports landscape, making sure that students are supported and they have the resources that they need. And then for students who aren't competing, giving them a space, whether that's like looking at new technology that they haven't really experienced before or played around with, and helping them find community as well. You don't have to be a competitive player to get the benefit of gaming and the benefit of esports. I started playing because I saw like art for one of the characters and I didn't really know what it was from. And then from the art, I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I started playing Overwatch, which is kind of how I got started.
Yeah.
And then I was watching other people play. Then I learned about Twitch and I started watching streams there. And then that's how I found professional esports. And it was through like learning about the talent and meeting them when I went to go to competitions and kind of watch both players and casters and producers and all of that. It made me see that there was room for me as well. And then the added benefit that I have now is that I get to do that with students, and that's always been a passion of mine.
So can you please like talk about the arena of like the amenities, how it's accessible to different students, and just like the features in it?
Yeah, so we were talking earlier about our driving simulators that are arriving. So they've been fabricated here locally in Calgary by a business called Trax VR, and they're accessible for people who do not have the use of their legs. You can fully drive with the steering wheel feature, and that's a theme that you'll see repeated throughout the space, that it's accessible, it's welcoming to all different audiences. We have the 6 gaming consoles behind you here that we've put in place. We're gonna have 20 gaming computers on the floor. We'll have an additional 10 computers on the 5v5 stage. Over my right shoulder, we have our varsity gaming space. So that's where our varsity team is gonna train. That'll be set up as a 5v5 with an additional station for our esports coach. Also our very first varsity team out of Bow Valley College. So that's really cool. And then the heart of this whole operation is our broadcast booth. It's a state-of-the-art broadcast booth with the intention that this is an instructional space. This is a classroom. So if you're a student who's studying esports business management at the college, this is one of the classrooms you're going to be coming to. And we need to get students on the real tools that they will see in industry. And that's what this space seeks to replicate, as well as helping them host actual esports tournaments. So the esports business management program culminates with a capstone project where they partner with industry and put on a real esports event.
Yeah, I love the connection of how it gives hands-on learning for the students to a further extent that they might not have experienced before.
The arena is going to be a wonderful space. I am so excited to see it and be able to show it to people as well. Something that I'm really happy about within that space too is that we're providing a space for students to go in and to play and to game, even if they don't have access to those systems or to those games or to those titles at home. It doesn't matter like kind of where you're coming from in that sense. If you're a student at Bow Valley, if you're a community member, you can come in, you can play, and you can get that experience. And we'll have a competition stage, so when we're having our teams compete, students can watch, or you get the experience of being on that stage and competing in what is a very professional setting, but you also get to do that at your college, and you get to do that in a space that already feels like community to you as well. My perspective on gaming is really that it is for everyone. I started out playing with Tetris battles when I was in university, and like not many people would consider that to be like your typical esport or your typical set of gaming. But to me, that was just how I got started, and I was playing with friends. And I think that there's room for everybody within it. It doesn't matter what games you're playing or how competitive you are or what even your skill set is when you start. It's about the enjoyment you get out of it and then the skills that you kind of learn along the way.
So with everything and all the plans and I'm sure big ideas that you have, how will Bow Valley keep up the trends and innovations going on in Calgary and the world?
Yeah, great question. So we've been all over to help inform the design for this space. So we went to UC Irvine to view their space. We were at PAX East out in Boston to check out that, which was a great experience. And the eSports Business Management program actually has a program advisory committee that's made up of kind of a who's who in the esports space in Calgary. So Mabel, who does GameCon Canada, another great premier event that had its inaugural year last year here in Calgary. They moved to Edmonton for this last year, just a couple months ago. And that is a massive event that added about $17 million to the local economy over the course of 3 days. So to have groups like that involved in the program helps ensure that it meets what the industry needs are and it stays current.
How will Bow Valley recruit and develop like an esports team, an official varsity esports team?
We're really excited. We're just starting to build our first team, and our recruitment is going to not just be limited to people who have already played esports, who have already competed in esports, professionally before. We are opening to all, whether your skill level is maybe not exactly where you want it to be, or you don't think that you're ready to compete. Our focus is on students who are willing to compete, who are willing to put in the time and the effort, and students who want to kind of have that social experience as well. And from there, we're supporting our students through coaching, and through practice and just through team development. But our recruitment is going to be visible to all and accessible to all. So that's us looking at campus. That's going to be us on Discord. When we get like our Twitch channel set up, that's how we're going to be looking at recruiting students and bringing them in, and then just being present at like a community, like whether that's Smash tournaments, or GameCon or pieces of that, and just making us known to students so that way they can know that we have this opportunity in this space and we're ready to support them in it.
Well, the global audience for esports right now is 495 million. That is experiencing 15% year-over-year growth. Also the youngest, so average age is 21. So youngest audience as well. Yeah. And as we look into the future and start to project where that puts esports, it will be, in some jurisdictions, it is the #1 sport from a viewership perspective. And I believe in the future it will overtake many of our traditional sports here in Canada as well. Yeah. And that's something that we should all be paying attention to and thinking about how can we be part of that opportunity to bring investment to the city of Calgary, to help grow that local talent here. I often compare it to the original 6 hockey teams, where you think about, look at the New York Rangers, the Toronto, Montreal, they became hockey hotbeds. I think that we're at a really great inflection point here in Calgary where we can be part of that sort of original 6 to grow our esports ecosystem and to take advantage of the economic impact it can have in our city and diversify our economy.
Yeah, well, I'm so excited for all that's to come. What it's like being a student at Bow Valley College?
It's very fun. I mean, the classrooms are never boring. Teachers are good. It's always something new to learn. So it's
super cool, nice, easy. It's a new program, new environment, new school, Calgary, Canada. I mean, everything is new.
Yeah, what things are you learning and how will they prepare you for the fast-paced industry of esports?
In our esports classes, we did a lot of history surrounding the esports and, building up our knowledge on current events in the esports scene around the world. So that's good. It's starting with, North America is pretty big, and it's just growing more and more in Canada, which is good.
So I'm actually learning something new in esport. I'm learning the business aspects of esport. I'm learning how to game, because back home there's a lot of gaming going on. So there's game in the streets, game in the arena, and there's actually new. So I'm like eager to learn more.
So as a current student in the first kind of wave of students for this program, how can you see the program improving and getting better from the experiences you have had so far?
I think it's only going to get better through the fact that we're all learning, including the teachers, and we're learning how to restructure the program so that we can better the next students. And with the development of the arena and other projects that are coming along, it's going to be very easy for students to get more hands-on, which is a big part of esports, and that'll help develop the want and drive to learn.
Speaking of progressing, just like any other thing, you have to have prospects of it. You have to make sure that people are into it. You have to make sure that people love it. And yes, you can go from there. So there's a bigger prospect for it. Yeah. And then kids and even those aged can also play. Like they want to go into gaming, and it's fun. And everybody can be part of it. You can be part of it.
We are here at Bow Valley College's arena.
the first esports arena here in Calgary, right here in downtown. And it's a place for professional gamers and aspiring professional gamers, and anyone's welcome. So you better come along here. Yeah, we're here in the arena, and you were showing me all your excitement earlier. So is it all you dreamed about?
Yes, I'm so happy that we're finally here. There's been a lot of thinking and planning, and really just fine testing. But to see people in the space and to really just be ready to welcome students I'm very, very excited.
What do you think? How is it so far?
Yeah. So, it's been super exciting, obviously, opening a piece of infrastructure like this here in the city. We've been in here the last couple of weeks testing things and making sure it all works. And every time I'm down here, I'm like, I don't really need to go back to work. I'll just, stay down here and keep playing on the racing sim or something. So
You must be so excited with
Very
all of
excited.
this
So
right
place is so awesome.
right here. And how much longer are you going to be at Bow Valley studying?
Just for 2 years, but I'm going to be here every day, all day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would be too.
Now you're going to look at people coming in here and actually seeing the quality of the environment here, and
Yeah.
this is just going to grow the sector. This is just going to start taking it to the
It
next
is.
level. So.
Yeah, and from what I'm hearing, it's open to different, not only the students here, but anybody.
Industry, the gaming, the gaming folks. This will put us in a position where not only are they activating in here, but with the broadcast component at the back, this can be out to the world. So you've got a capacity of about 500 people out there to watch. You got everybody activating in here, the broadcast piece, and then a podcast area as well, so that you can be doing all of these things one after the other.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a world-class facility for sure.
Yeah, so it's not only just for the professionals, but for people who are aspiring,
got
thinking about
This could be an
dabbling with
opportunity.
different things. It has so many opportunities here now.
Yeah, I think this just enhances our ability within the ecosystem to grow at, right?
Yeah.
So
And I love it. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
So I didn't think it would be so much.
yeah, well,
And
it's
it's a tight
surprising, right?
space.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
They
Yeah.
made it possible.
And it's surprising to people when they walk in to see the quality of the monitoring systems, what's happening around it, all the activations that you can do. So it's opened up, the window for not only what we do today, but what collaboration looks and how can we engage in future as well.
Yeah.
So they're developing all of those assets one after the other, and you're right, it's going to be available to everyone. So that's going to start
Yeah.
some excitement.
How do you guys feel with the opening now finally here?
Yeah.
Super exciting. Sorry, I'll stand up. It's really exciting. I think Eddie and I were just talking about how this is going to be a good opportunity for students, but also for the community. It is a big, welcoming space, and I think it's going to welcome a lot of different events beyond esports. But I think this is a great starting point, and Eddie's a really great leader in this space, and I think he's going to make a big impact with the students that come through here.
Well, a big part of what's happening too is with Calgary Economic Development and the Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund, there's an esports accelerator program that we're going to be investing in esports companies over the next 5 years to create that pathway to success. So there's the talent pipeline to train students so that we can support the esports industry in Calgary, but also that other piece to help develop the esports ecosystem in Calgary, which is really crucial if we want to become not just a leader in Canada, but a global leader in the esports space. It's an important recipe to success. So,
I think what all of you guys are saying is a great start. It shows passion and care and understanding and a look into the future of how to facilitate esports better in the city. So I'm excited, and I love how I could see the joy and excitement.
Yeah.
You guys.
It'll be a lab for our eSports business management program. It'll be a place for students to come and socialize and play. From a student life perspective, I think it adds a lot of value to the college. We're going to be standing up a varsity team that will compete intercollegiately, so we're really excited about that. And then it's also a home base for an accelerator program that we have here on campus, where we welcome entrepreneurs and new businesses who are trying to get into the esports sector, to run leagues or events or things like that, broadcasts, and we work with them too, and they'll have access to these facilities. So it checks lots of boxes for us on campus.
And I was talking to someone earlier, and they were saying how this being made has some people cross over their programs and be like, hey, I want to be in esports management instead.
Well, I think you know, and even for people here in the city, I think we're all learning as we go through this journey together that there really are opportunities in the esports sector. There's a whole economy to this that sometimes we don't fully appreciate. You know, globally, it's over $1.5 billion, and one of the fastest growing economies in the world, or sectors in the world, at over 15% per year annual growth. And so there's huge opportunities, whether it's running leagues or hosting events, or on the broadcasting side, and they're good jobs that are paying really well. So yeah, huge opportunities. And I think as people start to realize some of the economic benefits and some of the employment outcomes, we'll start to see that interest continue to grow.
Yes, I keep emphasizing on like the employment opportunities, especially in this day and age, how employment is so difficult to get. It's opening something wider, and this arena helps Calgary in specific.
No doubt about it.
Get a jump start to being on the global stage.
Yeah, for sure. So it's a new sector for Calgary too. You know, the esports economy in Canada is over $100 million, and very little of that, you know, comes to Calgary. And I think there's an opportunity for much more of that to come to Calgary. And so an event or a facility like this opens some of those doors and opportunities. And so, when we talk about, you know, diversifying some of the opportunities that are here in downtown, in our downtown core, and just adding some new sectors to the economy here in the city, this is part of that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and esports and gaming is supposed to be a community, and including everyone, and that's what you guys are facilitating here.
Yeah, we're trying to do it the right way. Yeah. Emphasizing all of those values of inclusion and healthy gaming, and you know, there's a stigma around gaming, you know, that relates to addiction and other kind of societal issues. And I think having an esports arena like this on a college campus in downtown Calgary allows us to address some of those things in the right way. And there's a healthy way to do all of this, and that's what we're emphasizing.
Yeah, there are healthy ways that can help people, you know, have a brighter outlook on life.
You know, and not only that, but you know, a lot of the gaming and the competitions, you know, there's teamwork, there's problem solving, right? And you know, there's a lot of other learnings that come from this type of activity.
Help them grow as a person.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for all that information. It's so exciting
it's fun.
To see everything.
Yeah, it's a really exciting day for us, and we're excited to show it off.
I think for us, what we start to do is, okay, let's understand what exists today. Let's understand what a successful sector looks like in the future, and then what do we have to do from this to this that is going to be possible, first of all. It's great to have these great ideas, but if they're not achievable and you have no metrics that you can point to and say, if we can get to this point, then we can do this next, then it's a very difficult thing. So these conversations then have to be catalyzed, brought into the same room, and then we start talking about what the process is, what that nonlinear thinking is to get us to there. What has to happen in the background here for us to be able to showcase something over here. And they're all linked, right? And then what do we know from other parts of the sector that have been successful that we can implement as part of our process, so that we know that there's no guarantees in any of this, but that we know we give ourselves a better opportunity to be successful. A center of excellence is going to be a major part to this, right? Where there can be those conversations that are not traditional conversations that help us lead to the next level. Then that starts to bring in the excitement from those that want to invest in it, to start harnessing that opportunity as well, because you can't move anything forward if you're not incentivized or financed well enough to be able to do it. It continues to be a cottage industry, if you will. But what we want to see is that development that grows from that, and what's the next step. So we're backwards compatible and forward thinking. We got to understand what's happening now and support it. We got to understand what the opportunities are, and then it's our job to try to define, for ourselves at least, and then the community that we support, what the steps are to get to that next level. And how do we make sure we're inclusive? And how do we make sure that there's possibilities? What do we set as metrics? Because these are economic development sectors, right? This is not just about the entertainment side of things. This is the entertainment business. So that component of it has to be part of our conversation as we move through it. So it's important for us as an organization and as Tori, as the subject matter experts and the sector experts, to be able to drive those conversations and to understand what people already know, what they anticipate they want to do, what success looks like, and how do we then move as a community to get there.
I've talked to a lot of groups that are really motivated, and I think that's sort of the beauty of esports in general, is how do you maximize the opportunity? And right now the opportunity exists in Calgary. So the conversations that we have directly with groups working in esports, or even periphery organizations like Chipotle, not saying we're talking with Chipotle, but if they want to, we can have a conversation. But groups that are just wanting to be part of it. Yeah. Again, I go back to what I said a little earlier, is this is a fun industry, and we forget sometimes that it's okay to have fun with it. It's okay to explore it, yes, from a business perspective, yes, there has to be financial, yes, there has to be planning, but there also has to be passion. Why would we be building something if there wasn't underneath all of this a passion, motivation, interest in wanting to have something of this nature in our city? And I think that that's what exists, and that's what has been revealed with the strategy, but in continuation of just supporting the sector. There's a lot of passionate, a lot of talented folks here, and we want to encourage their continued growth, and we want to bring in people who are motivated and on the same page with us as well as we move forward. Incentivization, which is more studio-based, which is more organization-based, that's an ongoing conversation. I think that's going to support us and help us to be more competitive in comparison to other jurisdictions in the country. I think as well as just continuing to tell our story. We've talked a lot about Calgary as being sort of a best kept secret. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a secret anymore. And we're starting to see that sort of branch out in conversations. And I think that's sparking conversations of, well, what could I benefit from coming to Calgary for? And as we have our creative economy strategy, as we're supporting the development of all those sectors, that becomes a continued conversation of why people would want to come here, have a life here, and be a creative here in the city.
Yeah, and I think as part of that, one of the things that you strategize around is how do you attract the biggest and the best, because then they attract the rest, right? So if you can develop a system here where people see the opportunity and they're at the top of their game, and there is an incentivization for them being here in a variety of different ways, whether it's lifestyle, how the sector's being supported in a variety of different ways, then people will start to see this as the catalyst for attraction. And so I think for us, it's to harness the opportunities for those that are already here and ensure that they have a place to be and don't have to leave the province. And then from that, start to develop the sector in a meaningful way so that others from the outside are looking in and want to become participants in the sector here in our city. So I think we're on our way to doing that. We do it in a variety of different sectors. We represent all the major sectors in the province, in the city, and I think it's important for us to understand that this is no longer culture's a nice to have. Culture is a necessity to have, and how we engage in the creative economy is extremely important to the attractiveness of the city and the province as a whole. So we're going to continue to move things forward in a variety of different ways on the incentivization, as far as the development of infrastructure, the programs that are being developed, and how we can play a part in having those private and public sector organizations move things forward. So, and then from the perspective of how we're showcasing it, we have those opportunities because we are traveling globally and having those conversations. So it's important for us to understand what's happening in the sector on a consistent basis and then being able to represent it knowledgeably to the world.
I think too, also welcoming talent back. There's a lot of discourse around I had to leave Calgary because in the creative economy and digital media and entertainment fields. But then now we're seeing a sort of turn in that conversation of I'm coming back to Calgary because I see my sector is more embraced. I see that it's more amplified. I see where the growth is going and I want to be part of that expansion. So I think that's also an exciting thing is come on back.
Yeah, the repatriation of those that have left to ply their trade somewhere that was maybe more supportive at that point. I think they're starting to see their home province as an opportunity. And it's weird about Albertans, unique, not weird, unique, is that this is home. right? No matter where you go, there's a sense of home here that I think happens more than other places, some other places. And I think the attractiveness of being able to come back to your home province and know that you're going to be supported in the creative sector and your creative endeavors is super important in how we're going to bring people back into the marketplace.
Excited to see what's going to happen.
I will say that everybody should give esports and give gaming like an honest try. There are different aspects of it that appeal to everybody, and you don't have to be a player to find your own space in that, and you don't have to start out already being like a grandmaster, a top 500 to find a place for yourself here as well. There's opportunity to play competitively, there's opportunity to learn skills, whether that's resilience or adaptability or leadership or perseverance. There's an opportunity to grow your own personal development, but also just the experience that you have while you're at this college or while you're participating in esports as a whole. So I would tell everybody, give it a chance, come into the arena if you have an opportunity, and just be open to what esports can give you and be open to what you can give to esports as well.
We would like to thank our guests for sharing valuable information to help us learn more about the world of esports.
We just got to hear about Calgary's first esports management program and the innovative funding driving this industry. Bow Valley College isn't just creating opportunities, they're leading the future of esports with an incredible arena and a new varsity team. Let's not forget the insights shared with us from Calgary Economic Development. It's clear the city is committed to advancing our esports community. Well, that was a good time. But sadly, we've come to the end of season 1 of Total Eclipse, a voyage into Calgary's esports, a 6-part series where we explored Calgary's rapidly growing esports scene. Let's continue highlighting the positive impact of esports and all it brings to our great city. I'm Jordan Lee. Thanks for being part of this exciting journey with us.
It's a total eclipse.